Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, I'm going to get into a very special story, and almost a surprising and also adventurous story about video games. Okay, and and it all breaks down to this envelope right here. Okay, so before I begin, I'm gonna remind you to go down below, click like and click subscribe. Again, any comments that you have and whatnot, and especially if we're talking about video games and that one side, put your comments about the video games and whatnot down below. Again, that helps the algorithm. And if there's nothing else, at least click the like button to if you like hearing about the story. Okay. If you'd like to support me financially, I do have the PayPal and Patreon links below, as well as you can click that YouTube thanks button as well. That also definitely does help. I have just recently redone the links and that stuff in my previous video, so I did a recent channel update where I've been doing some different modifications to put my entire database of episodes onto a website. On my website, so now you can actually use a standard web browser to start looking through episodes and whatnot. And of course, and I also explained the whole purpose of the redrafted episodes I'm doing to help build the summaries and that kind of stuff. And of course, I've also been doing some work on this new introduction thing that I'm working on and collecting up clips and that kind of stuff. So again, if you happen to find anything that I haven't already done and any mentions and whatnot, please put them down below, so that I can also add them into the collection, because this is what I've been able to sort of Google or things that I've run across. But maybe you've run across something else otherwhere. Please put them down below so that I can add them into the mix. Okay, so today's episode, we're talking about this envelope here. Okay, so the story began basically that I have been playing some retro video games and that kind of stuff, and been doing some various different stories about video gaming and that kind of stuff. And so I'm doing some different clips about going through games like Langrisser and whatnot on the PC Engine. Well, the story has it is that my TurboGrafx Duo is the CD-ROM is getting a little on the flaky side. I mean, these the system's getting pretty it's got one obviously has a lot of use, obviously, and it's getting a little on the older side. But the CD-ROM is starting to be a little bit flaky, and certain games aren't loading up. And one of the main ones is Lady Phantom, because I was wanting to do like a playthrough or take it to one of the conventions or something like that, and I want to make sure that that game works. So I started looking online and looking for different devices that might be able to help me, and I came across this site, and they're selling basically the CD-ROM sort of the device converted down into a HuCard device, and it allows you to basically store devices onto SD memory cards. Okay, so I said, okay, yeah, that will solve my problem. That way, I can play my games and on a PC Engine like normal. So we're not doing emulation or anything, because like I said, I've tried the PC Engine Magic Engine. And again, one, I mean, it works with Langrisser, that's fine, but it doesn't work properly with Lady Phantom. I don't know if it's just an internal error with the emulation or something like that. But anyway, so I can't play it using that. But so I thought, okay, so this thing basically is a CD-ROM replacement device for PC engines that don't that have a non-working CD-ROM, or basically doesn't have one at all. Okay, so decided, okay, comes to was it they're selling it for 200 US from this website called Kriz. So I thought, okay, you know what, let's go ahead, let's order it, and let's go and get that ordered in. Okay, so I do that thing, get it ordered from their website. And then I get this, confirmation email that's on the way, and I notice it's from the thing was UKR. And I thought, okay, right. So I thought, no, okay, it must be like, the United Kingdom Royal Mail or something like that, or Register or something. United Kingdom Register. I thought, okay, UKR, okay, all right, whatever. And so I didn't think about it for a little while, and and whatnot, and 2 weeks kind of go by, and going, okay, it's starting to take a little bit. I should probably maybe look at the tracking to see how where it's going and where it is. And so I'm trying to look up and get the tracking number from them to find out where it's coming from, right? And so they set this link for UKR, and I thought, okay, all right, it's probably going to start up from somewhere in England, and then and they're just going to ship it overseas, here to Canada, and then they'll process it from that. Okay, so I go look at it, and I realize, okay, this is a different site, and then I look at the where it was entered and started, and I just realized that when I hit the site, I'm going, wait a minute, this isn't England or UK. UK is not United Kingdom. This UK is Ukraine, and I realized that yes, it is posted in the city of Sumy in Ukraine. Okay, so I realized, okay, so this is why, obviously, so now all of a sudden I realized, okay, now I can see why there might be a huge delay of me actually getting this thing, if I even get it at all, for that matter. So I said, all right, so I'm following the route, and I was looking at the days that it is going on this little route here, and then I decided, okay, well, I better just see what is happening at these cities and going on with this thing. So again, I'm pulling up different news reports and that kind of stuff, and realizing that several things are happening on this thing. And I'll show you on the events here.
Ukraine's President Zelensky says a Russian ballistic missile strike has killed and injured dozens of people in the northeastern city of Sumy. Unverified images shared on social media showed burnt-out cars and thick smoke rising into the sky. Sumy, which is about 50 kilometres from the Russian border, has faced a wave of intense attacks in recent weeks.
Okay, so as you can see, it was registered and was moving through Sumy from the branch location right to the logistics center in Sumy on the 29th of August, and that's when basically these attacks have sort of occurred. During the attacks today, they had 68 drones and different sort of planes and Shaheeds and that kind of stuff attacking the Sumy region that particular day. So yeah, even under fire, that's when this thing is still in Sumy being processed through. So the next day, on the 30th, obviously it got out of Sumy and went to the capital of Kiev, where they've now going to process it through the logistics center, getting ready to go through customs and basically send it out of the getting ready to send it out of the country. And of course, on the 30th, that day, 582 Shahed drones and ballistic missiles and cruise missiles and all of their stuff, got sent into Ukraine. Again, lots and lots of damage. The missiles were flying all over the country, going everywhere and anywhere, so including the capital, I'm sure. So, this is a very, very chaotic day. Okay, so from this landing in the Kiev Center for Processing, the site wasn't updated until much later. So here I am, just looking at the news reports every single day, going into so many more attacks. Here on September the 3rd, another 526 drones come in, and lots of drones everywhere. And it's like there isn't any stop to every single day. There's more and more drones being sent here, and I don't know where the parcel is, other than the fact that it's in Kiev, getting ready to go outwards. Finally, on September 9th, they updated the website and finally it has arrived in Canada. Going through processing for customs. So obviously, so it's great. So that means that they got here, and Canada Customs is doing their thing. Checking it out and charging me money and all this other stuff, which is great. There's great news that yes, it escaped and finally arrived here. Now it's just got to go through the paperwork part of the battle. So finally, I get this thing, finally in the mail, and this happens to be a customs form. Okay, so basically, what it basically means is that when arriving into the country, because it's worth at least $200, you have to pay a certain amount of duty on that because a certain amount of that. Because it's over a certain amount, you got to pay a certain amount of duty for the electronics or whatever it happens to be. That I'm fine with. I mean, I said there's the difference between the weird ass tariffs that Trump is going along with and whatnot. So that's why try to avoid ordering anything from the U.S. If at all possible, because they keep throwing these stupid tariffs on everything. But yeah, fine. I had to pay like $20 or whatever for the tariffs. Which actually, if you look on the actual sheet here, the actual amount of tariffs is okay. They break it down for you, right? The actual amount of tariff on this particular thing that they're charging me it goes something like this. So even though they declared it at $200 US, okay. The amount that's that's getting dutied on is $117.27, which is basically, I think, I guess that's half plus the GST piece or something. I don't know, some weird calculation, but why it's not 200? But anyway. So I'm only getting dutied on $117 worth. Okay, so based on that, that means my GST, or the government of Canada's version, the federal government, is $5.86. That's their share. My PST, that's the provincial part, is $8.21. So that's the provincial. In your case, would be the state version of the tax is that. And then of course they're charging me $9.95 for handling fee. So almost half of it is the post office's $9.95 handling fee. So my total is $24.02. So so not a lot is being paid for this particular parcel. Anyway, so what's it all about? So I go and open the thing up. It's a tiny little box like this. Okay, so you can think it's about the size of my hand here, and it's a really thin, looking little box. Okay, right? And you open it up, and out comes this little device here, which is the basically the Turbo EverDrive Pro, and I get the Pro version because I want CD-ROM support. If you because I see that there is this EverDrive regular version that's for Hue cards and all the card generated games, but you can't play any of the CD-ROM generated games unless you get the Pro version, which has the CD-ROM support built in. Anyway, so this is the little thing, and it's just a tiny little thing containing the cartridge and everything like that. Okay, right? The cartridge. Okay, all the other cartridge in that. So I'm happy that that all arrived, and it's a little bit of it's exciting trip away from Ukraine. It's really interesting and that kind of stuff. So, was it all worth it? Of course. So here we have the actual EverDrive Hue card, okay, and it's a little nice little Hue card sized thing. On the side of it has a USB port here, and it has a port for the SD card, okay, and on the back, okay, is the card, and you can even see "Made in Ukraine," right, with the crest there. So it's like really cool. And it's 2023 is when they actually made it, right? So this is after they actually got attacked, right? So this is good show to them actually. The fact that they spent them and still managed to do the developments and everything, even when they're under conflict. It's really cool. Anyway, there you go. So there we go. So I now have this small SD card, which has right now I've put Lane Greaser, and I've put the Phantom on there, and Okay, so I'll put that into the game slot here and lock that in. Okay, then we just take that and we put it into my my classic PC Engine core graphics here. Put the power on there, and then basically, and the thing immediately turns on, and reads the directory that I have, and you can really see that it actually has Lady Phantom and Langrisser right on the listing right there. Okay, and then I can use my cursor here to select what game I want to play, whether it's Lady Phantom or Langrisser. In this case, let's do Lady Phantom. Okay, I press run. It activates the CD-ROM system as if I was turning on my TurboGrafx Duo. Okay, and then I press run, and there we go. And it begins loading up the game and putting itself in the ROM. Now, is it really any significantly slower than the regular CD-ROM? It's still fairly efficient, but it is sort of what I expect it to be. And so I said, pretty smooth. I don't see any breaks or anything in the music or anything like that. So it's that's really running really well. The graphics and that kind of stuff seem to the way I sort of had. And again, Lady Phantom is a really nice game because I said it literally pretty much is like Soul Bianca or Bubblegum Crisis. That's pretty essentially what it's sort of comes down to. Let's run here. Let's go continue here. And I said I'm in the process of playing game one of the series of the game, and I thought it's a really, really nice sort of thing. So anyway, there you go. See, dialogue and everything still works properly. So even with running the game through the Hue card and everything, it is still getting proper audio sound, and there's no lagging or clipping of the audio. Yeah, see. And this is part of the reason why I like all the CD games, is because they're literally CD audio quality. So that's why they had such a nice line of all the VAs and all the other stuff that that were hired to do this stuff, because it was very important. And yes, here we go. It's pretty quick and pretty sharp running, and it works really, really well. And so anyway. So this is the exciting trip that my little emulator came across. Definitely, if you're interested in getting one of these things, definitely, I would recommend you getting one, and just be prepared to expect for a little bit of a wait, because obviously there's going to be some things of logistics that you need to worry about. But again, it's a good thing that even under these conditions, things of commerce could still be accomplished with this, and things are going to be affected. And I'm glad that is the case, and there's a good happy ending for this particular story. All right. So these guys are not a sponsor or anything like that. Like they didn't pay me or anything to get this. But again, if understand their struggle, right? And the fact that they're still able to develop and make this thing for the gaming community, even under the as much conflict and questionable and hardship that they must go through. So again, I really appreciate that from them. And if you want to support this person, by all means, I'm sure that they would love that. Okay. And so, best wishes to them. Slava Ukraine. If you like this story, again, don't forget to click like and click subscribe. Again, I will see you in the next episode. Okay? So, until next time, I will see you again.